In the name of Allah, the Most Gracious, the Most Merciful, the All-Hearer, the All-Knower, the All-Seer. I bear witness there is no God but God, and I bear witness that Prophet Muhammad is a slave and messenger. I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected Satan. In this video, I'd like to talk about the Mahdi and the system of the Mahdi, and how the Mahdi, I believe, would bring about economic power into the world. And obviously the Mahdi would use the Quran as his guide to bring that about. And there's two places in the Quran that really stand out to me on how to make an economy really strong, how Allah prescribes. And the first piece I would like to mention from the Quran is that God makes trade lawful and interest unlawful. Now, it doesn't take a rocket science to see why interest is unlawful. It extracts the wealth from people unjustly. There's no services that are provided with an interest. It's just using time and debt to enslave people. So obviously that's an oppression. Obviously that's no good and needs to be done away with. Now, trade. Allah makes trade lawful, so anything requiring a livelihood is very important. So trade should be free-flowing, minimal regulations, low taxes. Regulations only should be for the safety of workers, property, and the environment, and to allow trade to flow freely between people and things of that nature. So the more we can allow trade to prosper and not have any restrictions on trade, except for the ones that have regulations to uphold balance and harmony in the environment and with all of creation and our Creator. And the next piece I would like to look at is Allah mentions to tax savings. So instead of having an income tax, it should be replaced with a savings tax. So instead of having whatever you make, say you make $50,000 in a year, you'd get taxed, say, $5,000. So instead of having an income tax, that they should have a savings tax. So say if you have $50,000 saved at the end of the year and have a 10% savings tax, you would have to pay $5,000. But say if you spent $40,000 into the economy, and then you only had 10% left, you would only pay $1,000 income tax. And I want to explain why that's very important. And I'm just going to make an analogy when referring to the economy as an engine. So to increase the power of an engine, or the horsepower, you would inject more gasoline, more fuel into the engine to increase the horsepower and speed of the engine. So as the same as an economy, you want to keep the money in the economy. The money is the currency, it's the flow, it's the fuel of the economy. So when countries overtax their people, it's a form of oppression, that they're extracting the fuel from the economy, and then the engine starts slowing down and getting sluggish, and it starts getting stagnated. So the beauty of a savings tax is that it encourages people to spend their money in the economy versus hoarding it. For example, the family of the Rothschilds, the Rothschild family is well known as an elite family that controls a vast number of companies and controls a vast amount of wealth in the world. I've heard of up to, their family is worth about $500 trillion. So just to break that down, if they were to give a paycheck to every person in the world, it'd be roughly around a little under $500,000 per person they could give if they sold all their assets and liquidated all their, they got all their money and they were to cut it, to give up all that money to all the people, it'd be a little under than $500,000 per child, person, everyone in the world, a little under $500,000. So it just goes to show the evil of hoarding money. So this is a tax that Allah obviously understands, that it would cut hoarding of money, that people would spend that either in charity, insha'Allah, and or spend it in the economy, versus being instead of not paying so much in a savings tax. So and to give you an analogy, I've heard a lot of politicians, which really I don't understand how they think like this, but they say by increasing taxes will increase the economy. But that's like saying if I cut the gasoline to my engine, it's going to make it increase its power. It makes absolute no sense. So the lower the taxes are, and I'll give you an example. Say there's 3 people, and one man spends, person A spends $1 and buys something from person B, and there's a 10% tax on that. So the government makes 10 cents. And then person B sells that dollar or buys something from person C. On that same dollar, the government collects 20% on that dollar, 20 cents on that dollar. And then person C sells back to person A for $1, buys something for $1, and then now on that same dollar, the government has just made 30 cents on that dollar. So the more the money is circulated within the economy, the more money that's within the economy, with just a regular, say, 10% sales tax, would increase more revenue than overtaxing the people. It shows in statistics that lowering taxes always increases revenues for the government. So by abolishing the income tax, by implementing a savings tax, and keeping the taxes low, keeping the trade flowing with minimal regulations, but just regulations to keep the harmony of creation and balance within creation, that you will create an economic powerhouse that will destroy any economic system that we have in place right now. So, simply put, lower taxes, having basically a flat tax on sales, and abolishing the income tax, which is a form of oppression, getting rid of interest, and putting in a savings tax. So at the end of the year, say you have $10,000 saved, you'd only say a 10% savings tax. You'd only pay $1,000 out of that out of your savings. Say you had $10,000, you pay only $1,000 to the government, and that will ensure that people are spending their money in the economy. They're spending their money in charity, and that will just create lots of fuel, getting lots of horsepower in the economy. So this is what Allah ordains in the Quran. This is what makes sense. This would increase abundance in the world. And a lot of taxes have to go. Lowering the taxes is the right thing to do, and it will make the people happy and bring prosperity into the world. And we need that. We need to take care of the people who don't have enough, that don't have a proper home. Some people don't have proper food to eat on a regular basis, and we need to take care of those people. And the better we have a system in place, the system of the Mahdi, the system of Allah in place, will create an environment that we all can thrive, and we all can live in a paradise state in this world and insha'Allah in the next. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings.